everybody, I'm Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and everybody's got a price for lazy booking. Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the Lazy Booking. No, it's true. It's damn true. Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and if you want to know what's going on in wrestling, check out Lazy Bookings. Ho!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of Lazy Booking right here on A2DRadio.com, live from the Real Talk Studios in Runnymede, New Jersey. We are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. You can call Dr. Paul Vidal or look him up online for all of your specialized physical therapy needs. You got any aches and pains, you won't have them any longer, and you can find them on the web at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
And let's not forget about Ambuck Services, gutter cleaning. You can find them at 856-879-5530. Find them on the web, ambuckservices.com. You need deck restoration and staining, deck installation, tree trimming, gutter cleaning, all that great stuff. They do everything for you, so check out Ambuck Services. And obviously ATS Sports Picks. Use the promo code A2D, get you 20% off your first-time purchases of a package there. March Madness, great time to get in there for all
XFL,
you junkies.
Baby.
XFL bets, let's get them in.
Yeah.
All that good stuff, guys. Check them out. ATSSportsPick.com. Singular on the website. ATSSportsPick.com. It's bracketology time, guys.
Yes, it is.
I know it's WrestleMania season, but we're kind of in that weird influx of things. AEW doesn't have a pay-per-view for another week. So this is a good time. Let's take a breather from the current product.
Wait a minute. It's Super Showdown season,
Super
man.
Showdown
Get with
season.
It, dude. Come on. It's all about those Saudi shows. That nice little cash that they have.
I know. Listen, we're going to take a breather from everything going on now, and we want to have some fun on this show. You know, we love to talk the current product, and I'm sure some of that's going to come up in this.
Yes.
That being said, we want to have fun. And what do we love to do here on A2D Radio when we like to shake it up, get the conversation going, get the fam going? Bracketology time, boys. It's almost March Madness. We're going to get you ready for it. I know last night on The Fix, they did Philadelphia's most hated since 2000.
Yep.
We're doing all-time greatest heels of the last 40 years. Kind of a good time to do it now, too, with the turn of the century. Can kind of reflect back, basically, from 1980 on. We got 32 names. Yeah, 32 names. 8 from each decade of the last 4 decades. We have them ranked. They're seated. We're going to go through and we're going to discuss the legacy of all of these people here and why we're going to make arguments as to why they should or shouldn't be considered the greatest heel of all time. Who doesn't like talking about heels?
Not I.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody doesn't. Like, if somebody doesn't, then it's like, then you're not a wrestling fan.
They're a heel.
Yeah.
Right. But not like the good heel. They're like the Baron Corbin heel.
Yeah.
You're not over. Nobody cares. You're just,
You got the different kind of heat. The kind of heat that could actually get you killed.
Right.
But
it's
anyway.
like Mike Adamle heat.
Yeah.
Oh.
How he didn't get shot. Yeah.
But listen, we're going to go through every era here. You got myself, Maddie, as always, the Ginger Gang coming at you. Mr. Brodo on the ones and twos.
Hello.
All mic'd up, ready to talk. And Mr. Pete Evans from Birds of a Feather, my co-host on Birds of a Feather, joining us tonight because when you talk bracketology, when you have heel talk,
Yes.
more voices in the room is a good thing. So we're going to go through. We're going to run down. And I know that there's going to be controversy. I want the fam to speak up in this. I want them to tell us who they feel like we missed. I want them to tell us who they believe should be moving on. And we're going to go from there. I mean, that's the fun of this. I mean, it's been said, and I put out the post earlier regarding kind of us doing this tournament. You know, a lot has been said over the years that one of the key factors that drives a good wrestling program and builds your biggest stars is from the heel. It's the heel aspect. If Hogan doesn't have great foils to go against, Hogan's never Hogan. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and a lot of times when it's time for the match to go in the ring, a lot of times it's the heel calling it.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Now we could argue what the meaning of a heel is now if we really wanted to.
But then we're getting into philosophical stuff.
Yeah, and then we're really we would be really jumping down a rabbit hole, and I don't think we need to do that because we've had that conversation many times. I've said it numerous times that for a long time, he may not be technically labeled a heel, but John Cena was the biggest heel in the company. Nobody had more heat than John Cena. Roman Reigns would be the same thing. So, obviously that's kind of morphed, but we're going with the traditional heel, bad guy over good guy type of a deal.
Do you think when guys get a heel gimmick, just they're supposed to be a heel on camera, but they see the good guys getting booed, do you think they get envious of the good guys for this? Like, man, why can't I get booed like that when I go out there? What do I have to do? Do I have to start dressing up like Cena and pretending to be a nice guy? Do I have to hug a small child in order for people to start hating me all of a sudden?
By the way, you're getting some love from Eileen on your PlayStation shirt, man.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice. Well done. All right. So
Let's jump in it.
we're going to start with the 1980s, boys. Again, seeded 1 through 8. I'm going to read what their seeded number is as we do the matchups. So round 1 is seed number 1 of the 1980s, Bobby the Brain Heenan, taking on the 8th seed, Andre the Giant. 8 was tough to come up with in this. And I will say, I didn't seed these all myself. I had conversations with people, a consensus of around about where people should be.
Okay.
So this isn't just me who had these seeds kind of labeled as what they are. And there were names that people thought should be in, names that they didn't, vice versa with myself, make you rethink some things. I just want to put that out there first. I will say consensus across the board, Bobby Heenan was the number 1 seed of the 1980s for everybody I spoke with.
I don't think you can argue that.
Nah.
I think I'm going to be honest. He's going to be, and I know the number 2 seed's a real strong one too, but he's going to be a tough out. That's going to be a fun conversation because I'm pretty sure that the 1 and 2 are going to end up in the end of this. But Bobby the Brain Heenan, Andre the Giant. Who would like to make the argument first? I mean, there's probably not going to be much of an argument, but
I mean, you can't really argue against Bobby. I mean, hell, Bobby was the manager of Andre the Giant when he was a heel, and that was pretty much the ultimate. Well, think about it. The day of Piper's Pit when Andre turned heel, who did he walk out on stage with? He walked out with Bobby Heenan.
And what did Hogan say? He's like, why is he here?
Yeah, why are you with him? And then after that, Andre, he turned heel, obviously, and they did the magna opus of WrestleMania, known as WrestleMania 3. Mm-hmm. And, it's just, at the end of the day, you can't really argue with Bobby. And it wasn't just what he did with WWE. AWA, you go back to there if you want to, and the territories when he would manage different kinds of heels all throughout that time period. And he did have other times where he was in the WWF beforehand, so Bobby was he was a once-in-a-generation manager, you don't really see those anymore. But, I don't think you will ever again.
I don't think the industry is. Yeah,
I don't think you'll ever see a manager ever again. Like Bobby Heenan.
I mean, Heyman's as close as it gets.
Yeah.
But see, what I would say with this, you kind of touched on, it's pretty simple. Andre was the prototypical attraction. He was cheered and revered everywhere that he went. The only way you were getting heel heat on Andre, and I'm talking massive Pontiac Silverdome for a main event with Hulk Hogan type of heat, was to put Bobby Heenan there, and you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
Immediately, the first thing that comes out, what's he doing here? That's the moment you knew right away, this is going to be a new side of Andre we never saw. You needed, and listen, Andre could talk a little bit, but you couldn't understand a whole lot of what he said. You needed Bobby. And, I mean, we're going to really dig deep into Bobby, I'm sure, as the tournament goes on, so I don't want to get too far. But it's easy just with these two alone.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan made Andre the heel that he was. That is simple enough.
And that's just enough to get him past here, like you said, to talk about him later on as we get further along in the bracket. What you just mentioned, why is he here? think about it. He elevated Andre. So how can we put Andre forward in the bracket over the person that he elevated?
Absolutely.
He's the first mouthpiece.
It feels weird, like, eliminating Andre in, like, the first round, but it's justified in this instance.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he
Andre
was a
being
heel
a
for, like,
first-round
2
exit.
years.
I got to be honest.
It's weird.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to be honest. When you hear the rest of the list, Andre almost didn't even make the cut.
No. I'm not saying for this list, but when you
yeah.
talk about Andre, I mean, he's one of the most recognizable figures in wrestling history.
it would
You know what I mean?
It would be kinda
but you're
like-
right. It's no debate.
It would be kind of like if we were doing this based on WWE championship runs. Andre had the belt, but he gave it right to Ted DiBiase, so it's like he didn't have a run with the belt.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you can't really put Andre past someone, but you can. He's definitely there, you know. But it's like it's just one of those things, you know. But in terms of like all-time greats, he's easily going to a Final Four spot.
And you can
know?
even take it a step further. Well, we'll wait. We'll take that step further when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that being said, I mean, I thought this was a pretty easy one. This might be the easiest one that we have because it's going to get tougher.
Oh, here we go.
All right. 2 through 7. 2 and 7. Are you going that way?
Yeah, we could do 2 and 7. All right, so 2 and 7, we have the number 2 seed, Roddy Piper, who only Bobby Heenan could possibly trump Piper, up against Ravishing Rick Rude. Now, there are a couple of names that could have crossed over in the 80s or 90s.
Right.
And I felt like there's a couple that were kind of shuffled. Because listen, even though they're ranked in the 80s,
Right.
we could talk about Rick Rude in the 90s as well. It counts towards his whole body of work. But in order to kind of fit the most deserving of names, some had to be finagled in some spots. I mean, Rick Rude, to me, though, 80s is kind of where he fits. Some people said maybe 90s, but
If you're talking about WCW, I mean,
I
get
the
it.
Dangerous Alliance.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I mean, Rick Rude and Piper, 2 of the greatest
heels
ever to never be world champion. I mean, I mean,
technically, Rude had the NWA World
World
title
title,
technically at one point, but by then it wasn't called the
wasn't.
NWA
Yeah,
World.
it wasn't the same
International
thing. It's not.
Yeah.
Like when I think of world champion, I'm not talking about like USWA and that kind of crap. like that.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotcha.
talking like the tried and true NWA, WWE, WCW. Even now, I would probably put AEW up in that category when I think of people as world champions because they're getting to that platform at this point. Like, I'm not talking about Impact World Champion. Like, that to me doesn't count.
We have a vote. Michael Jenkinson, Rude over Piper.
Wow.
And then John says Piper hands down.
Okay.
Wow, that's a. I mean, here's the thing, though. It's very hard for me to vote for Rude here. Only reason why is because it's like, yeah, Rude was a great heel, but it's just when Piper was a heel, there were actual people ready to kill him.
Yes.
You know, like they were people ready to outright murder his ass because of the things he did. And Piper got downright racist when he was a heel, you know? So, I mean, he also hit, Jimmy Superfly over the head with a coconut, you know? So it's just like, I don't know. Piper did everything from racism to chauvinism to everything. Piper was a heel that today would never fly. But back then, if you wanted to get that kind of heat where someone was going to get murdered by the end of the night, Piper was the guy who got that kind of heat.
As a face, black-faced half of his face.
That too.
I mean, that has a face.
Yeah.
And aside from, he has too many. Not that Rude didn't, but in a way, in comparison, he didn't. Piper has had too many infamous moments not to move on this list. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could spend an hour just talking about the things that Piper did that made us go, what did he just say?
Yeah.
Or what did he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from Rick Rude, but Piper was transcendent,
See,
man.
to me, Piper got true heel heat.
Mm-hmm.
True heel heat to where no matter what walk of life, if somebody was doing that, it would rub you the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rude was just the guy that men looked at, that your girl was with you, that you were like, don't look at him that way. Like, he was everything that you wanted,
that's it.
everything that you wanted to be.
Yeah.
And you couldn't be it. And this leads me to Piper did his dirt on his lonely.
Yeah.
Rude needed somebody to get elevated, who we just talked about, previously who we'll talk about further.
Yeah, it's good.
True.
Point.
I
That's
mean,
a fair point.
think about it. Even in WCW, he had Heyman. So it's like there's very few times Rude didn't have a manager.
Yeah.
Couple things over. By the way, I agree with everything you guys just said. I really don't have much to add to that, aside from the fact that when you think of the 1980s and you think of iconic moments,
Iconic.
Sorry, I had to do it once. You think?
Well, they're on a milk carton right now, so you know.
They'll be back. Minor setback for a major comeback.
What? More implants?
When Maddie with his Meltzer comments over here. When you think of iconic 1980s moments, and I could maybe, if I think of the top 3 things that if you said to me, name 3 of the biggest moments in the 1980s, is Piper's Pit cracking the coconut over Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
Ranks right up there. And, I mean, that's one of the most heelish segments that to this day has ever been seen on television, professional wrestling television.
Do you remember in 03 when Piper came back and they tried to cling on to that and they had Rikishi come out with a coconut and try to smash it over
I
Piper's
vaguely
head?
do.
And that was just to get Sean O'Hare over, and that never panned out.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that guy.
Who is now dead, actually. So
Yeah, I'm about to say, didn't he pass away?
He did. He passed away a few years back, actually.
So I think consensus would be Piper moves on here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Couple comments over here before we jump over to the next one. Greg says, "What's up, fellas? Have a great show. I hate the heels. I'm a face guy."
You act like a heel.
Eileen
Gregory.
says, "Hi, guys."
Cody Gregory.
Rosca says, "Trish Stratus, Ric Flair, Triple H, Hogan." Eileen loves Cena. John says, Roddy Piper, one of the greatest talking heels, hands down. Greg says, yes, high heels. Heels in wrestling are the bad guys. Eileen says, I didn't know it was the wrestling talk at first. My apologies. I don't know. You don't have to apologize ever, Eileen. You're welcome all the time.
yeah.
John says Bobby Heenan, no doubt about it. Brinkman chimes in from the Sports Hounds. He says, Hollywood Hogan is the best heel ever. He might be.
He's going to be a tough end. He's going to be a tough end.
Be very interesting.
He also says Triple H was awesome as well. Especially when you get into his prime.
Oh, my God.
Eileen likes Andre.
PTSD.
Rosca thought that Andre was a heel was better. Andre was better than Heenan, but then he said later that he agreed that Heenan made him. So Eileen likes George the Animal Steel.
This is how I feel about that last comment.
I love how you pulled my face up. Eileen wants to know why there's no wrestling posters in the studio.
I don't know. I don't own the building.
Yeah, we don't own the building.
Well, yeah.
Is he showing that? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, you could start up a petition and hand it into one Tom or known to get some wrestling posters.
I used
here.
to decorate here. Maybe I'll pull a little something that I can bring in weekly. I used to decorate the front here. Michael Jenkinson, I would like to know why you think Rude over Piper, though.
That is intriguing.
John
It's very intriguing.
John says Piper and Bad News Brown, that was the match that he did the half blackface.
Yes, he did.
John Danzo says
WrestleMania 6.
the cutting
It
of
wasn't even
Andre's
his
head
face.
by
It was the whole body.
Literally, yeah, it was all the way down to even his leg. He probably had his foot painted too underneath his
There's
boot.
like a famous story about that too, right? Where he couldn't get it off at first.
Yeah,
like they put something in it like as a rib, and he literally was like scrubbing his skin off to try to get all that off. He had it for days. He had to walk through airports like that.
Oh my
Can you imagine now?
How'd you get on the plane?
Can you imagine? Well, this is the
I'd be like, I got a skin condition.
Bro, in the 1990s,
Yeah, I
you were
got a
sitting there
skin condition that
lighting
makes
up
me go half
cigarettes in the
blackface.
seat, and it didn't make a damn difference.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
So, see, that's what happens when Scottish people stay out in the sun too long. They go half blackface.
All right, moving on. We have 3 and 6. The number 3 seed, $1 million man Ted DiBiase takes on the number 6. I think this is a tough matchup. The Iron Sheik.
Oh, this is tough.
For one, the Sheik is legit crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His Twitter's great.
I'll make you humble.
Fuck you, make you humble.
This is tough.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's because I always when I used to watch the DiBiase stuff, I would always be going back. Like it was, I was never watching it in real time for obvious reasons. I loved him so much, man. Like, I never looked at him as a heel. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, he was a heel, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I never hated the guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing I would say DiBiase has over Sheik for me is just the longevity.
Yeah.
The longevity. And then the variations. Obviously, DiBiase never won the world title, but he tried to buy it.
He did try to buy
Created
it
the
from
$1 million, created the $1 million belt.
Which I think was a consolation prize to him because he was originally supposed to win the title, but
Right.
either Hogan or someone chirped to Vince like, nah, that ain't happening.
Right.
So he gave it to him.
Then from there, we all remember I was at WrestleMania 7. Him and Virgil.
Yep.
Yes.
Remember him and Virgil. And then, but then to reinvent himself when he was taking a step back, we all know him and Money Inc.
I hated them.
Couldn't stand that team.
I hated
Especially
them.
they're going over Steiner Brothers. They're going over
Yeah.
Legion of Doom. Like
This is where me and you kind of can chime in a little bit more because it's one thing to go back and watch it.
yes,
When you grew up and lived like when
Yeah.
kids,
Every week,
when
yeah.
the kid's dribbling the basketball and he just fucking kicks the basketball away
Yes.
from like that is such a dick move.
I love it, though.
Yeah, I love it too. In hindsight, now
Well,
you're
yeah.
like, oh my god, it's brilliant. Like
No,
I
but
think
you're right, though. You're right.
I think he keeps in touch with that kid too.
Yeah.
I think he said that. But I got to tell you, like growing up in that era and watching him be the foil to Hogan and Savage,
Yep.
and now we know the real story, what happened to Brutus Beefcake, but at the time you think, oh my God, they hit him with the briefcase and now his face is all busted up and he has to
Right.
wear this metal mask. And like you just think about and man, I hated Money Inc. so bad.
Yeah.
I hated that team so much. And then even when he was a freaking manager and he had the $1 million corporation, I hated him. I hated everybody in the $1 million corporation, minus King Kong Bundy. I always liked Bundy for some reason.
R.I.P. Bundy.
But he's just one of those guys, man. When you lived in that era, you hated that guy.
Yeah.
He was so much better than you. He flashed the bills in your face. He's fucking kicking basketballs from people. He's paying people to like lick shoes and stuff.
Speaking of that, did you guys know this, that there was a time where he took his boot off and he had one of the fans come out and kiss his foot?
Yeah.
And you know who that was? It was Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, it was RVD. Yeah,
Really? And
yeah,
it was
yeah.
Rob Van Dam when
It
he
was
was
a kid.
just
It was
a kid.
He paid him like $20 to come in
I remember
and
that.
kiss his feet.
It's like it was Saturday Morning Superstars or something like
Yeah,
that.
he did it. Yep.
Sweaty.
That was RVD. But man, you go back and you think about that, and I'm with you, Pete. Like, it was just something else. And he was always going at your favorite guys. It was always Hogan. It was always Savage. And you're like, this guy's a dick. And then add to it, this guy's already a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now let's add Sensational Sherry to him.
Oh,
Or with Money Inc., Jimmy Hart. And you're like,
well, what was Sherry's nickname there? The $1 Million Lady or something like
Something
that?
like that,
Yeah. She had some nickname. She always had a nickname. Every time it was like between her and being the Queen Sherry with Macho
Yeah.
King.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him in a minute.
I mean, Sheik was crazy. And I'll tell you, in the 80s, him with him alone and then him with Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah.
It's a tough argument to have, but I just feel like you said, longevity, and he was a heel, like a true top heel.
Yep.
His entire career, and he got out at the right
Right
time.
time.
He didn't hang on. He was at the top of his game, pissing people off all the way until the very end. I got to give it to DiBiase.
Every shortcut you could take, every corner you could cut, he took it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, too, because when you compare the type of heels that you have, not to say that it wasn't perfect for the time, but it's kind of was cheap heat with Sheik because he was a foreign menace, and him being from Iran, it was perfect timing for him because that was when he started wrestling. It was during that time period with the hostage crisis and everything.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for that period. And then for DiBiase, though, it's more of a I'm better than you kind of vibe. And to me, that resonates more than the foreign menace, at least by today's standards. Because by today's standards, I think Americans have become a little bit more realistic on the fact that it's just like, our country may not be the best in the world. It's good, but
Yes.
we've kind of fucked a few people over in our day. At least now. Back in the 80s, it was kind of more that Reagan feel of, like America, baby. We're the best in the whole world. And that's why the Foreign Menace works so well, and also Cold War time as well. But with DiBiase, it's like that could work at any time period, being I'm better than you, I have more money.
What's the term that the young kids use now where when you post all your successes on Instagram?
I just call it, I don't know, being conceited.
Being conceited.
There's a term like
Brodo.
I don't talk like that. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
unfortunately, the hip hop artist who just got
Pop
murdered.
Smoke, yeah.
Right. They were. I'll look it up. But there's a term that they use because he constantly posts stacks of money on Instagram, and then an idiot posted his address on there.
Yep, and that's what got
But
it.
there's a term that they use for people who succeed and do these things, but then shove it in your face on Instagram. It's like I'll figure it out. I can look it up.
And then, just real quick before we move on to the worst first round matchup ever. Damn you for
It's a great
making me think this. But for Sheik, we think about his most iconic moment too. I mean, obviously, and this is even probably a little. Cause I'm a couple years older than you. Is in real time. I remember Sheik beating Bob Backlund, and Backlund had it for 6-7 years at that time. But then we immediately, without Sheik, we don't see the rise of Hogan. So where DiBiase is just consistent, it didn't matter. Top face guy, DiBiase is going to make your life a living hell.
Flexing. They call it flexing.
Oh, wow.
Posting all your stuff on, your money and your jewels
Throwing
and
it in the
stuff.
face,
They call it flexing on Instagram.
Flexing will get you killed.
Well, Ted DiBiase was ahead of the time.
Stupid
And that dude
term,
was
but
constantly
anyway.
flexing.
He was
Nobody said it was
Instagram
smart.
before Instagram.
He was.
Yes.
Listen, I mean, Ted DiBiase, for all intents and purposes, was the original flexer.
Yeah.
He was.
OG
Just
flex.
saying.
When you think about it.
He was the.
That's just like a new. It's like
Really, on some real, I know the Migos made a song for Ric Flair drip.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted DiBiase, dude.
Him and Flair were
His drip was real.
Yeah.
These young kids know what I'm talking about. His drip was real.
So for all you shitheads out there on Instagram who may be watching, you could thank Ted DiBiase for giving you guys your
platform.
your fucking shtick.
Thanks
Anyway.
for jumping in, Eileen. We appreciate you. All right. So now we have the final first round matchup
Oh, my God.
of the 1980s. The number 4 ranked Nature Boy Ric Flair versus the number 5 ranked Macho Man Randy Savage.
Ooh, yeah.
First of all, you can't tell me that those two should go over Heenan, Piper, or maybe DiBiase. You can make an argument for. Maybe. But I don't. Here's my thing. Ric Flair.
So I want you to talk to the people because you make sense when you say it, but it's not something that's originally going to jump out at you.
There's a couple things with Ric Flair. We all know the heat. We know what happened with the Four Horsemen, with Dusty over the years. There's a couple of things with Ric Flair, though. Ric Flair, what I count as a strike in this instance against him, he was one of the first guys, if not the first guy, to make being a heel cool. People cheered him.
Yeah.
They may have booed the rest of the Four Horsemen and booed him when they were pulling underhanded tactics together as a group.
Right.
But people were wearing their fake Rolex watches and suits and their aviator sunglasses all to the arena.
Members-only jackets.
Right. It became a thing. It became like a movement for people to start to follow the heel a little bit, to want to hop on Space Mountain and go for a ride, so to speak. A lot of people wanted to know what it would be like to be one day in Ric Flair's shoes.
Right.
As opposed to some of these other guys, man, it was just straight heat. And the other thing, too, with Flair, and I don't want to say it's a total knock against him. A, he had some face runs. And B, he wasn't, being in New York at that time, you were magnified big.
Well, also think about this too. You know how today the Smarks love to cheer the heels, and they just love it because they get it. They get what they're doing. It was a little different with Flair, but in a way, he kind of laid the groundwork for it of a heel being cool, because when you think about it, it's just everybody fell in love with Ric Flair just because of the fact that he was pretty much timeless. Secondly, because the Four Horsemen were so dominant, it's like, how can you hate them? You know, they were that talented. And Flair,
Tully and Ole were pretty easy to hate.
Yeah.
well, okay, yes,
And I love Tully. I love Tully because
yeah.
Ole was a douche, but I love Tully because of that.
both in the ring and in real life. But yeah,
Yeah,
but,
Ole
you know,
was a monster douche.
But I look at it this way that Flair was kind of the guy who laid the groundwork for anyone who's like an Owens or anyone who's like a Hollywood Hogan that we'll get to in a minute. You know, anyone that was perceived as cool as a bad guy, it was because Ric Flair was cool as a bad guy in the 1980s. And I wouldn't say necessarily the 70s, but the 1980s definitely.
That's true. I mean, that's where you see the birthplace of like somebody like an MJF right now. You know what I mean? That's hitting the nail.
Best
right on the
comparison,
head.
yeah.
Or even a Jericho. I mean, who's constantly reinventing himself. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But that, I think this would be my first time that, just for the sake of what you just said, being cool, I'm gonna have to go Macho over Rick because of the fact that Macho, he had that run for 18 months where he was a face and he had a run as a champion. But, I mean, we could talk about the things, the way he got the IC title from Tito Santana, the things he did, how he treated Elizabeth at the time. You know, that's big. And then to go right there when you had the Mega Powers and how he turned because he was a jealous dude and just kind of kept rolling. He rolled that in right into the Macho King. So it was like that lap from like 80, 88 all the way through 91. It was just like, dude.
And you didn't even bring up everything that he did to Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah. At WrestleMania 3.
Which is arguably the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. You know, the build up to get to that, the heel tactics that he used with Steamboat and crushing his larynx and all that. I miss having guys like Gorilla who would tell you the patella tendon, like all that great stuff. I miss that. But
Think JR would say that?
No.
we're gonna start. We are gonna have a new segment on the show. JR's greatest hits of this week because they were some doozies on AEW this week.
You know what my favorite Monsuism is?
I need cake. Why's it gotta be pie face? I like cake.
My favorite saying from Gorilla Monsoon is actually Pearl Harbor job. When someone would sneak, I loved it. It's like, Pearl Harbor job from behind.
I miss it.
Yeah. Oh god. And him and Bobby Heenan are just out, just gold. Seriously.
I agree, and that's gonna end up, I'm sure, coming up when Bobby as we go through the tournament. But I mean, for me, I gotta agree, man. It's got to be Macho at this point.
It does, and the reason why too is because he was hated. You know, Flair became so loved towards the end, even though he was booked as a heel. He was an anti-hero when you think about it. And then
go ahead.
And Macho Man, what he did was, at that time, it was basically the equivalent of taking a knife and just stabbing everyone in the back when he turned back to being a heel.
I mean,
and
Savage was hated.
Yeah, he was,
and then was
100% hated.
Super over and went back to being even more hated than he was before that.
All you had to do was try and take out Hulk Hogan, and like that was it. You were hated for life after
And
that.
listen, you can even dive in a little bit deeper because I said we could stretch over generations of their body of work. You never thought you'd see the day again that Randy Savage could be booed out of a building.
Yeah.
But, man, when you look at that run in WCW, when he turned to the NWO and everything he did after that, I'll be damned if that dude wasn't booed out of the – and he was one of the greats of all time at that point.
And, by the way, we should also thank him because he made DDP a star during that time period because of their rivalry.
And that's the whole thing, right? Because you could even add that into the discussion when you want to, is how many faces did these guys make? That's how I look at Ted DiBiase, right? Like, you could look at Flair and you could say – well, he had that great run with Dusty, but Dusty was already over.
Yeah. Dusty was super over.
There's not a lot
Ronnie
of guys.
Garvin, he put Ronnie Garvin over in 87, 88.
But I'm talking
Steamboat.
I'm just
talking about Flair.
Steamboat. I mean, you can go all like even going back to Flair, right? Like Ronnie Garvin. Yeah, he put those guys over. But how many of them had the longevity?
Oh, no.
But you look at Savage and look at the people that he worked with.
Yeah.
Over time, he put. I mean, I know. He put Warrior even that much further.
Royal Rumble 91, I still hate him to this day for that. God rest your soul, Randy.
Yeah. There's only one person who I think had the longevity that really, was perfect for him to get the rub from Flair, and the Flyers just tied it up. But anyway, sorry. ADD. Anyway, out of that, I would say one person, Sting.
Sting would be a good
And
one.
because
he made Sting.
Steamboat,
Yeah.
yes, he was big in his time, but then he slowly trailed off there in the 90s. Same thing with Garvin. His career was pretty much over by the 80s, by the end of the 80s. And then, and Dusty was already over because of his time in Florida. So, really, when you think about it, that one guy was Sting. That really...
True, but you could really... Steamboat got put over by both of them.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
Wrestle War 89.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not wrong. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that was so. Just because Flair is so cool, I gotta go Savage, and that's tough. I still hate you in this moment for putting me in that position to have a 5-4, but I get the seeding.
Man, Flair out the first round.
It's tough. It's
What?
really tough.
Who do you got?
I'm going Savage. Again, when you this is about hated. This is talking about viewing them as a heel, and not heel only, but if you had to really debate between, okay, first thought of them, are you thinking them more as a babyface or a heel? I'm not. There's been so many fun moments with Flair as a babyface, and obviously this didn't happen in the 80s or even the 90s, but the end of his run in the WWE with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Obviously the last match with Shawn. Even the moments before that, that's the first thing I think of with Rick. Even, and this might sound crazy, even the TNA moments when he was supposed to be a heel with the, Fortune or whatever the hell they called that stupid group.
We don't try to talk about that.
Yeah, he was, even when he was a heel, I never hated him because he was funny. You know what I'm saying? When he was, it seemed like every week in TNA, he'd punch himself in the head to reopen the wound. And he did that in, in other companies, obviously, before. Right. Or when he would elbow drop the suit jacket. He was I never hated him, even when he was designed to be the most hated figure in all of television.
Yep.
Yeah.
Savage, he did some despicable things, man.
You're right.
There was one time I actually kind of hated Flair, and that was during the Reign of Terror. That was the only time I really wasn't a big fan of Flair. But actually, it slowly turned into I feel bad for Flair. I want Flair not to be Triple H's lackey, but he just kept being his lackey the whole time.
The Reign of Terror.
Well, I think back now, and that's a great point, Ryan. When you think, the first thing you think of is I think of how cool Flair is.
Yeah,
to your point,
even to this day.
We were there for a lot of Savage's big run, in real time. And when I go back and I think, and this is why, and it's the most insignificant moment, but this is one of the first things I think of when I think of Randy Savage. I think of being a kid and having a Coliseum home video.
Oh, Lord.
There was a match between Hulk Hogan with Elizabeth in his corner versus Randy Savage with Sherry in his corner in France.
Yep.
It was one of those World Tour videos.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And in this match, in the middle of the match, Savage is he's trying to get under Hogan's skin. So he's doing the jump out of the ring, get back in the ring. Jump. As soon as Hogan goes after him, jump out of the ring. Yeah. And he walks and he paces around the ring. He has that thing with his arms out and he's walking around real fast. He gets a mic and he gets on the mic and he says, I dedicate this victory to the most beautiful woman in the world. And Hogan's going like this and pointing Elizabeth and he goes, sensational Sherry. And he gets booed out of the building. And I'm like, that dude and that chick have so much heat.
Screw that guy.
I think of that.
It's in this cross language, man. It's they're in France.
Yep.
I think of that. And I think of the 91 Royal Rumble when he cracked on Ultimate Warrior with the scepter in the head. That's the two. Aside from the Mega Power stuff as well. Yeah. But when I think of him, and that's immediately what I go to, not like Ric Flair flying on jets and stuff and how cool that is. To me, that's heat.
I mean, you got that, and then he took it right from Mega Powers, WrestleMania 5, which I was at. So,
nice.
Took it right from there. Then you had the introduction of Zeus. Towards the tail end of that year.
Whole other one with Tiny Lister, yeah.
It's
another one you forget.
We forget all about that.
Savage might go far in this, man. He might be the one. Because we keep, and I know we've saved a lot of the other stuff, but we're the layers to this.
By the way, where's Zeus on this bracket? His one move that he could do properly.
If we were doing all-time one-and-done douchebags, then Zeus would probably make.
Was he in when we did a bracket last year? We did a ton
gimmick
of
one. No,
no.
we did a gimmick one last year.
No. Although he
We did the
probably
job-
could have gone
Was that the
into
jobber
it.
gimmicks one we did?
No, I
did
think
a
it was.
ton
I
of
think it was the
gimmicks.
bad
The
gimmicks.
worst
one.
gimmicks. Worst gimmicks.
I think he could have been
And
on
we did
it.
tag
He really
and we did
could have been.
singles.
Yeah, we did.
That was a long show.
That was a long
That was a
show.
long show.
What do you think? Should we finish the 80s out and then move on? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So we don't have to get. Well, maybe we do have to get. These are 4 top names, guys. All right. Heenan versus Macho Man. This is a 1 seed versus a 5 seed. I'm sticking Heenan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we went real deep into the Savage thing a minute ago. We don't have to
Yeah.
get back into that. Heenan, the point I was going to say to follow with you can even go to he as a heel on commentary continued to make
Yes.
faces over and over. We had Tito Santana on this show, and he talked about how, yes, it was Jesse Ventura who nicknamed him that. But like you had Bobby I always think of Bobby Heenan ripping Tito Santana with all the freaking nicknames and everything he gave him over time and talking about flying burritos and stuff.
Is it fair to call him the puppet master of the 80s? I think McMahon was
Absolutely.
the puppet master of the 90s, to where everyone big had some kind of connection to him. You know what I'm saying? He had involvement
He made
somewhere.
everybody.
The
Yes.
Heenan family was a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, all the top guys worked with him. And if they didn't work with him, then he put them over. Oh, somebody's down.
No, there was a fight.
Oh, okay. He put them over in commentary. He made guys like Tito and all these other guys seem like so much bigger of a deal than they actually were. And I don't mean that as disrespect to Tito, but he made Tito sound like a world title contender at times. I think it's got to be Heenan.
Michael Jenkinson says Savage over Heenan for sure. Heenan made you laugh. Savage was real heat.
I can kind of see his point there.
Fair point.
But when you can get heat just by showing up, and the guy that you're rubbing the heat off to that guy, anybody in the Heenan family, it's tough. And as a commentary, and when Savage became a commentator, when he did the commentary, he was a face. He never was a heel. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just so many layers to Heenan.
To me, I think like you can't really just focus on the commentary side of things with Heenan. If you got to take the whole body of work in, it just kind of trumps Savage in that regard, and that's no offense to Savage.
Nah, not at
but it's
all.
just like, well, to be fair, also Heenan has how many decades on Savage, in terms of being around. But again, though, it's like the longevity of Heenan as a heel it cannot be under. Even when he went to WCW long after the run in WWE, and he's still hated. Like people who were not WWE fans hated Bobby Heenan too.
Well, here's the thing. As a heel commentator, nobody ever got tired of Bobby Heenan. People can still go back. We're tired of JR and we're tired of the shtick that you have to have a heel commentator.
Yep.
But Bobby Heenan was the one guy who was always able to do it and make it work. And I would agree to a level of what he said because, yes, things he said on commentary would make you laugh. But before that, when he was the manager of all these guys, you weren't laughing. Guy was a dickhead.
Yeah.
And everybody hated him. They hated everybody that he managed. And it's not even that. As the heel manager, he made so many heel stars.
Yep.
Case in point, Mr. Perfect, who may or may not make an appearance in the next bracket, was a guy who didn't need a mouthpiece, but yet Bobby took him to a level that was unbearable to hear these two guys together.
Yep.
To me, it's tight. It's tighter than you think, but I mean, man, Heenan. There may be nobody in the history of wrestling I hated more at his peak than Bobby Heenan.
And look at this. And I know this is getting out of the 80s. But we talk about, I think, Bobby's greatest heel commentary. And this is just one night. Flair, Royal Rumble, 92. Just go back and listen to Heenan's commentary during that match.
Yeah.
And Flair, we knew who he was.
Flair.
We knew who he was. He didn't need help getting over. And somehow Bobby still put him over more. And it's, oh, man.
I mean,
That's a fair point.
And if I'm correct, when Flair went to WWE, he wanted Bobby as his manager. Like that was one of the things he asked Vince. Like, can I have Bobby as my manager?
Well, I'll even take it a step further than that, okay? Ric Flair, as big of a star as he was, came to WWE, and half the people didn't even know who he was.
Yep.
Bobby Heenan brought a new, and even for all the years of heel work with the Four Horsemen that Ric Flair did, Bobby Heenan arguably took him to the next level that nobody even knew could possibly be there for Ric Flair.
Yeah.
It's got to be Bobby Heenan.
So we got Bobby Heenan moving on. And now at the bottom bracket, who do we have?
And then we have Piper and DiBiase.
Oh, boy.
It's tough.
I got to go Piper, and I don't think this one needs a long debate.
No.
I just think for iconic moments, I know that I feel like longevity-wise, there's more with DiBiase, but iconic.
Yeah, it's Piper.
Super heat moments with Piper, it's tough to top that.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Heenan, Piper.
Heenan and Piper. 1 and 2 seeds. I got to stick with Bobby.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to
ride the Bobby train.
He's
on
the
this
puppet
one.
master of the 80s.
Yeah.
You got to rob Bobby.
I mean, it's no disrespect to Piper. So, I mean, wrestling wise, Piper might be the greatest of all time, but you were doing it by decade, and you can't. I can't see
even look at
anybody
DiBiase that when he brought the title off for Andre, Heenan was present.
Yep.
Yeah.
And think about it this way too. Think about at Bobby as a manager. He's not wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like to be a heel and be as hated as he was, and he's not actually in the ring, physically in the match. It actually adds even more to how he was able to accomplish, because Piper was in the ring. He could do all kinds of things to piss people off during a match, because it's like, I'm calling this thing. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to poke this guy in the eyes right now and right behind the ref's back, or I'm going to, take this foreign object and hit my opponent with it. Referee's not looking. Not saying Bobby didn't do it, but Piper was in the match. So it was kind of a different vibe going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sticking with Heenan on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with
Same.
Heenan.
All right. Now.
All right. I got to say, the toughest one to come up with was the 1990s, because there were so many names, so many freaking names. But we did, and I wanted to be fair. I didn't want to exclude WCW from things, and honestly, one of the biggest names comes from WCW. Well, 3 of the biggest names come from WCW.
Yeah.
So, all right. So 1990s, we have how much time we got, Ryan?
12 minutes until the break.
Okay. So 1990s, we got number 1 seed Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus the number 8 seed Mr. Perfect. I don't know that. Listen, a guy.
Is this even a discussion?
Yeah, this is a route. I'm sorry.
I'll put it easy. I mean, and it's no disrespect to Mr. Perfect, because he was amazing. But
Rest in peace, Kurt.
when you talk about a guy who was at the top of the game for years and years, and you can reinvent yourself in a way that gets trash thrown in at you in the ring, still in the yellow and red.
Yeah.
Bash of the Beach. That's all I got to say.
1996.
That one moment right there, and I'm sure we'll dive deeper into Hogan, but I think Hogan's a pretty clear-cut favorite for this one. You agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is number 2, Eric Bischoff, versus number 7, Vader. Vader, who in the 90s may arguably, outside of Hogan, especially in the early WCW days, may have been the premier heat character. Working with guys like Ric Flair, Ron Simmons. Yeah. He's in a lot of big programs. And he fucking Vader bombed Gorilla Monsoon, guys.
That he did.
Iconic moment.
He did.
But again, I'm going to go to the same thing with Heenan. Bischoff
was
he had his hand in everything.
He did. Bischoff was.
He was attached to so much.
The thing with Bischoff too, man, he was a heel in front of the camera
and
behind the camera. Mm-hmm. I think it's no question here, but I had to respect Vader in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Vader may be, again, like I said, outside of the NWO era with Hogan, Vader may be the biggest heel WCW's run in the 90s.
And Sting never beat him for the title.
Nope.
Yeah.
Never beat
Stunning.
Matt Milkaric says, how was Vince not above Bischoff? I would have even put him above Hogan.
So if you paid attention, or
we're talking about the
I think Matt's
90s.
jumping in later.
Yes.
In respect, All right, I'll explain why Vince is in the 2000s and not in the 90s. Because Vince, although at the end of the 90s was huge, his run to this day as a heel continues to run. And you can think of from when 2000 rolled over to everything that he's done, in fairness to be able to fit more people in here who are deserving. Vince could have been 90s or 2000s. He had a bulk of things in 2000s, but we're still discussing their whole body of work.
Most infamous may be 97, though. But still,
Of course. But
that was the birthplace.
right. So to try to get more deserving names in spots, we had to be a little lenient. So Vince is in the tournament, probably, spoiler alert, the number 1 seed in the 2000s. But to be fair to get these guys who we haven't gone through yet on here, we put Vince at number 1 in the 2000s. So he is in the tournament. Don't worry. And he's actually ranked higher than Bischoff would have been.
Yes.
So number 3, Rock versus number 6, HBK. I'll say this. Michaels had a pretty great heel run.
Yes.
That being said, as big as Dwayne is, when he
Literally
turned,
and figuratively.
yeah, when he turned, and that Nation of Domination run, and then that original run against Mick Foley, against Austin, I mean, arguably the greatest feud or top 2 or 3 greatest feuds of all time as him as the heel.
Correct me if I'm wrong, too. Before he officially turned, he was pretty hated as well.
He was hated as a face.
hated
Yeah,
as a
He was
face.
he was like Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns.
He was the blue chipper, Rocky Maivia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like he was hated before he was even technically a heel.
Well, they were chanting at him, "Die, Rocky, die."
Yes.
So,
Yes. I'm going Rock.
as much as I love HBK, in terms of the peak of their heel run, I don't think there's many that can.
And again, I don't when the first
And success as a heel's run, too. Like, Shawn never had a success as a heel.
I mean,
the first thought I
mean-
have of HBK is not a heel.
The most heelish he ever had when he was champion was during DX.
Yeah.
In '98, before he lost the belt to Austin, and that was it. Other than that, he's always been a babyface when he had the title.
And that's fair because Austin went from his feud against Michaels
Yep.
to his feud against Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hands down, that feud against Rock, to me, is levels above what he had with Shawn Michaels. And both played the heel role.
Yep.
I got to go Rock. I mean, and the Mick Foley stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, between the one accidental incident at the Rumble, but too many chair shots. But more importantly,
Well,
just
that's not by accident. But
it's
it's just a really poorly.
It was
planned out
probably a bad call. Yeah. But I will say, The Rock was just his talking as a heel.
Yeah.
The Rock's one of the best talkers ever, and as a babyface too. But even as a babyface, he talks like a heel.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that never changed with him. So it's just The Rock. It has to be The Rock. You know.
Yep.
So Michael on here says Bischoff just rode NWO coattails. He didn't draw his own heat.
I don't know about that.
Bischoff created the NWO.
Yes.
He created the NWO, and on top of it, you think about. See, I don't know how old you are. Maybe you're as old as we are. When you go back, and this is one of those, as hated as that group was, when Eric Bischoff joined them.
Yes.
Oh my God, did that take it to another level? This is before we had 30 guys in the NWO.
Yeah, it was a smaller
When
group.
Bischoff turned and he joined them, the guy who was power bombed off at Super Brawl and all, by the outsiders, and you thought, oh my God, this guy's never going to do that. When he turned, the guy running the company turned. It became a whole new ball game.
And keep this in mind, he did that before Vince.
I'm about to say
did it.
He was
And
Vince before Vince.
Now, don't get me wrong. Did Vince do it better? I
Yes.
think longevity-wise, absolutely.
Longevity-wise, yes.
But when it comes to Bischoff did it first, and he did do it. He did it well enough to where people actually hated him. So it's like, you got to give him props. He did get heat.
Yeah, and he did it, like you said, he was powerbombed off. Then this to join.
Yeah.
Like how much, you can't get more chicken shit than that.
Yeah,
That's like, if I can't beat him, I'm going to join him.
yeah.
So Rock moves on. I think we all agree with that. Sergeant Slaughter the number 5 seed versus the number 4 seed, Bret Hart.
I'm going Slaughter here.
I'm actually going to go Bret. And the reason why is because Slaughter's was one he was uncomfortable with, I thought. And yes, I understand in territories he was a heel for a period of time against Bob Backlund. But Bret as a heel was so weird and it was something intriguing in the WWE when he was hated in the United States and loved everywhere else. And then when he went to WCW, you could say bad booking, everything, but he was a nasty son of a bitch when he went to WCW. And he was constantly either doing something heelish, he was always interfering in matches. He basically was a heel the entire time he was there, with the exception of I'd say late 99. Yeah, it was when he turned babyface when he became champ.
What do you think, Ryan?
I'm going Bret. I'm going Bret. To me, Maddie, I completely agree with everything you're saying. And 2, even to me, and this could be controversial, to me, even when he was a face, I didn't find him very likable.
Well, I've never been shy to say I think he's the most overrated main event.
Yeah, I never liked him. Even when he was technically the face, I always rooted against him.
A pair of sunglasses and the shimmy can get you, but see how far it can get you.
Well, also the fact that there were no other stars and the company's in financial turmoil. But
well, we're gonna need the fam to break the tiebreaker because I'm going Sergeant Slaughter.
See,
because when you talk about when you talk about Desert Storm, the Gulf War, and you talk about a guy who I remember as a kid watching the G.I. Joe cartoons and having the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe figure that crossed over from wrestling, Mr. America basically, all intents and purposes. And then when he became an Iraqi sympathizer, and they wanted him to burn a flag, and thank God he didn't do that. He burned a Hulk Rules shirt anyway.
Yeah.
I don't care how comfortable he was. When you saw on that camera, that was all heel. And I have never seen. When you have death threats to your family, when you have people threatening to bomb WrestleMania, I ain't ever seen that with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that with many people. That's one of the best heel runs of all time. I don't care if it was only a couple months. People wanted to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
When him and Savage, when Savage hit Warrior with the Scepter and he won the title, I was like, are you kidding me right now?
What a fucking elbow.
This is the worst thing ever. I'm telling you right now, I'm going Sergeant Slaughter.
I remember the visual of WrestleMania 7, him having Hogan in the camel clutch and then covering him with the flag and trying to pin him. And he still was wearing the same, like he didn't even change the attire. Like this is the same attire he had when he was the G.I. Joe character.
Well, didn't he have he had the pointy shoes?
He had the pointy shoes, but as his singlet and his camo underneath.
Yeah, I got you.
Still the same.
I'm telling you right now, man, there ain't. I don't know. It's been a long time since anybody's had real heat then. And yes, maybe they used a real life situation going on, but they used it effectively.
Yep.
That was a dude that was loved in this country. Loved. And ended up becoming one of the most hated people.
What I think this is more of an age difference here of like missing one thing that happened, just not being there for it, which I wasn't.
Right.
I was there for Bret. I wasn't there for Sergeant Slaughter. I think that's really where it's boiling down to here.
Over on the book here, Nicholas Eugene says Slaughter heat was gigantic. Matt Milcarrick, Slaughter made mainstream news. Him over Bret all day. They moved friggin' WrestleMania because of him.
They did. That's true story.
I thought they couldn't fill the building.
That was part of the problem, but they started getting death threats that people were going to bomb and snipe the building.
I didn't know that.
And they're like, well, because of all of this, maybe we should just move the venue.
What was the original venue for it again?
The Coliseum.
Yeah.
Where they held the Olympics.
So, I mean, the tiebreaker on here with the fam definitely seems to be
they win with Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Slaughter.
And it's like with Bret, it was like you kind of understood where he was coming from. And then it was just the anti-U.S. sentiment, but he really wasn't saying anything. He was just full of himself.
Let's try to plow through and finish these ones real quick because we got about a minute left. Pretty easy here, though. Hogan and Slaughter. As much as we just argue for Slaughter, Hogan wins this one.
Hogan has
Hollywood Hogan. And then we have Rock and Bischoff.
Ooh. Are we about to have Hogan Rock again?
I think we are. I mean,
I got to give the nod to Rock.
yeah,
Same.
Rocky's got to take this one.
Same.
Because he went from Rocky Maivia to NOD, and then to align yourself with the corporation.
Yeah.
Well, even more than that, he was actually starting to get loved in 98 when he broke away from the Nation, wins the title in 98, and boom, immediately turns back to being a heel just to give a middle finger to everybody.
Yep.
And it was a perfect setup for WrestleMania.
Hogan and Rock, guys. Who you going? I'm going Hogan.
Hogan.
As a heel, yeah, Hogan. He killed it as a heel.
All right.
I actually preferred Hogan.
We're gonna take a-
honestly.
we're gonna
Finally beat The Rock.
He finally.
Yeah, he finally got his win back.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side. We're going to do the 2000s, 2010s. We'll probably fly through them a lot faster than we did these ones. And then we're going to crown a winner, guys.
Yeah.
So, Maddie, who's sponsoring this lovely show today?
Specialized Physical Therapy.
Yeah?
is
Who,
sponsoring
is that
the show.
Dr. Paul Vidal?
That is Dr. Paul Vidal. Just in case you have any aches
love
and
that guy.
pains going on with you, if you go visit him, you ain't going to have those aches and pains anymore. And if you want to know where to find him, you can find him at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
Love the doc. Love Ambuck Services. You got to get your gutters clean. You got to get a deck restoration, reinstallation, whatever you guys need to do. Tree trimming. Hit them up, ambuckservices.com. And also, ATS Sports Picks, promo code A2D. Get you 20% off all first-time purchases. Make sure you check them out, ATSSportsPick.com.
Buck ATS.
Oh, yeah, I love
Dr.
them all.
Paul Vidal.
We're just a big family, big smorgasbord. We'll be right back, guys.
Everybody, I'm Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and everybody's got a prize for lazy booking. Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the Lazy Booking. No, it's true. It's damn true. Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and if you want to know what's going on in wrestling, check out Lazy Bookings. Ho!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lazy Booking right here in the Real Talk Studios in Runnymede, New Jersey. I almost said it. Almost. All right. But we are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy from Mr. Dr. Paul Vidal. If you have any aches and pains, you won't have them after you go and see him. You can find him on the web at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
And also Ambuck Services. You need your gutter clean. You need deck restoration, installation, trees trimmed, whatever you need to get done. Hit them up, 856-879-5530, or on the web, ambuckservices.com, or ATS Sports Picks, topic of conversation, which, by the way, use the promo code A2D. Get 20% off all your first-time purchases on packages to place your bets, whether it's the XFL, whether it's anything. March Madness around the corner.
Fury or Wilder this weekend.
That is a big thing. I'm really excited
If
for
you're
that.
a curling enthusiast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. Get on there, win some money, and ATS, I almost did it again, ATSSportsPick.com. We're talking greatest heel of the last 40 years. We've gone through the 80s and the 90s. The question was, or the statement was, the 1980s was the golden era of heels. And I think before we jump into the 2000s, I think it's fair to say, because we were kind of discussing, we knew we were going to kind of get hung up on the 80s and 90s, because I think it's fair to say that in terms of overall, the conversation for the characters back in those days is unbelievable. I would agree with the poll question, or the poll topic, that the 1980s, though, is the golden era for heels. Would we quickly agree, disagree? Is there anyone that disagrees with that? Doesn't seem like it. Looking at your faces here. All right.
Nah.
I was going to say, if so, then we can have a conversation about it. But we're going to move on to the 2000s. So now we have our number 1 ranked in 2000s, Mr. McMahon, and the number 8 ranked Eddie Guerrero.
I love Eddie, but I mean, he was a very good babyface. I think that kind of trumps his. I think it does. Yeah, I'm gonna say it does. He did do some really bad. I mean, he did some awful things at the end with Ray, but yeah, when he was Latino Heat and he cheated on China and everything like that. It's like I found that more goofy than I found that
I
tragic.
I feel like
you
with
know?
the LWO stuff and some of the stuff late in his career, he was very hateable. I hated him as a heel in WCW. I couldn't stand him. I thought his look made him he had a punchable face. I just he's one of those guys. But that being said, Mr. McMahon is Mr. McMahon, and we're gonna deep dive into him. But I think at this point we don't need to get into him too deep right now.
Also, Eddie did keep a mullet a little bit longer than he should have.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe that's why he had that much more of a punchable face.
Yeah, maybe that's the one thing I can dig on Eddie. He's like, maybe you should have got rid of that mullet.
The knock on Eddie. Go ahead, I'll let you.
I was
talk.
gonna say it's absolutely Vince.
Yeah,
It's absolutely.
I mean, the knock on Eddie is that his heel tactics were easily transferred over to a face, and it was just as big of a run.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't even know that I would say it was a bigger run. I mean, it was because he won a world title.
Yep.
But he was able to then transition back to a heel and get booed again.
Yeah. He
did.
Which is why I don't want to say it was so much of a bigger run as a face. But his shtick worked both ways.
It's a shame because we never got a chance to, because unfortunately he passed away, we never got a chance to see what it would be like when he would have turned heel on Batista, and see how that would have panned out, because that's pretty much what it was. He was going to eventually beat Batista for the world title.
Yeah,
So.
that would have been great. Our number 2, Triple H, versus our number 7, Undertaker. And really, Undertaker, again, he's another one you can really take the body of work. Again, we fit in different spots. I kind of went with 2000s for him because I felt like when he's another guy who had a really great face run. When he turned heel, and I'm going even beyond like the Ministry of Darkness, I'm going to the American Badass, like against
2001.
Hogan and Flair and those guys, man. He was a prick.
He was.
He was a very believable prick. And again, you can go back to when he first came in, that heel run in the 90s when he beat Hogan. It's one of those things that crushed me as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this. When the dead man turned as the biker, that crushed me because I just like, oh my God, The Undertaker's a bad guy. You know, like it just, I couldn't accept it. I was like in the stages of denial. But, it was one thing I do remember on a Monday Night Raw. Tommy Dreamer was out there, and he picked up a hot dog off the ground and he ate it. So Taker came out. I was like, you like doing disgusting things? How about this? You're going to drink my tobacco spit. And Tommy did it, too, which I was like, what?
I remember when
Tommy Dreamer.
I remember when Tommy went through that shtick, and I hated it. I hated that. I thought that was disgusting.
That's beneath him.
But, when you talk about Triple H, and again, you talk about, really it started kicking off in 99, but them early 2000s, especially when he started joining up with Stephanie, man, he is as hateable in the history of pro wrestling as anybody ever was.
I will say this, man. Triple H, I broke things in my house when he won. Yeah. Like I hated him so much. When he finally lost to Batista, it was like the equivalent of watching the Flyers win the Stanley Cup. It was such a special moment to see him finally lose.
Yep.
And permanently lose, by the way.
It got me. Then later on in that year, when it was that year, so he won in 05, right? No,
yeah, Batista in 05.
The year before, we saw Randy Orton win out of nowhere.
Yes.
And then, we kind of all feel it coming. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a new top heel. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll transition. It's every moment you thought Trips his ego would go to the wayside. Mm-hmm. It was like, no, bitch, I'm here.
The only time he was a babyface before he would eventually just become
was 02.
02 when he came back from his original
quad
tear.
Injury.
His original quad injury. That's just because people missed him, you know, and people just like, oh, cool, Triple H is back. So they just rolled with it, even though he was still supposed to be a heel because he was still married to Stephanie and everything like that. But, they just rolled with it.
I'm going to make this argument, and I'm going to carry this argument through this whole portion of the bracket. When he turned heel, and I'm not even including the, Hunter Hearst Helmsley era, which was very hateable.
Yes.
That was a very good time period for him.
I'm talking about when he turned on DX, and he ended up being, the corporate guy at first. When he was a young, hungry guy chasing the title.
Yeah.
Year after year, he evolved that character.
Yes.
You talk about a guy who had many faces of a heel character, but stayed true to that heel character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a guy who ended up being the young, hungry guy who would be ruthless and do anything, to next becoming the guy who, you know, was the leader of this evolution movement. You know, but I'm the guy now. You know, I'm looking out for you guys, but you're really looking out for me right now with Orton and Batista and then Flair. And you talk about, I mean, listen, the stuff with Booker T.
Oh.
How hateable can you
Oh, my
possibly
God,
be?
yes. And then he won, which was even more salt in the wound.
And let's be honest, that was before WrestleMania 2000. Anytime we saw a championship match at Mania, that title was changing hands.
Yep.
So I remember watching WrestleMania 2000. It's a fatal 4-way, and I'm like, okay, he has to lose it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yep.
this is different.
And the craziest thing about it, too, the very following month at Backlash, where you had The Rock and Triple H, and everything was stacked in Triple H's corner, and Austin came out and helped The Rock. That was the best, probably the best pay-per-view they had all year, and that's saying a lot considering they had a lot of great pay-per-views in 2000.
We got a lot of ground
amazing.
to cover, so we're going to fly through a little bit of this. I think it's fair to say, though, Triple H.
Triple H wins, yeah.
Kurt Angle versus Chris Jericho.
I hate this matchup because they are both so good as heels.
They are.
And we're solely focused on it in 2000s, right?
Well, you could focus on the body.
If I'm focused on the body work, it's Jericho.
It's Jericho.
Absolutely Jericho.
And even if I take out the Y2 or the specific era right now, the AEW stuff,
Yeah.
you go back and you look at Jericho, and even in just the 2000s, okay, he was hateable prior to that. I look at his run when he beat Rock and Austin.
Yes.
How hateable he was then. Then he became the babyface. Then I think about his not brief, but his run as a heel against Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I'm the best in the world at what I do. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That dude was as hateable as anybody has
Punched
ever
the
been.
wife.
Yeah.
He punched the wife. You know what I'm saying?
I got to go Jericho.
Can't punch a Nitro Girl.
I got to go Jericho.
Yeah, I would give it to Jericho. It sucks because Angle was a great heel.
Yes, he was.
This one, JBL and Edge.
I went with Edge.
Edge 4, JBL 5. I'm going Edge here.
Absolutely, Edge.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing I'll say about JBL, and I said it to you guys off
he was
in
just
the
a
break.
dick.
JBL is a dick. JBL is what I would call, he was Baron Corbin before Baron Corbin. JBL can work. And I don't care what anyone says, Baron Corbin can work.
Yeah.
But he'll never be liked. He'll never be loved. Doesn't matter what they do with the character. He's just a guy that people just don't like.
Yep.
So we're going to go with Edge here. So, okay. This is an easy one. Mr. McMahon versus Edge. I love Edge. It's a tougher matchup, but it's Mr. McMahon.
McMahon's.
And we're going to go Jericho versus Triple H.
Jericho.
I'm going Triple H.
Triple H.
In this instance, 2000's Triple H.
I got to go Triple H.
And it's only fitting that it ends up being Vince versus son-in-law.
It is. and okay, how many people are going Mr. McMahon here? You got your hand raised. You got your hand raised. I'm going Triple H.
I'm going Trips.
I'm going Triple H. Because Triple H, Mr. McMahon's character, as great as it was never better than that run that he had with Austin.
Yes.
And beyond that, Triple H continued to evolve. To this day, that character still continues to evolve. So, Brian, you're the tiebreaker. Mr. Daly from Hockey Happy Hour. Who do you pick, McMahon or Triple H as bigger heel?
Oh, coming from a show that I'm Triple H, I'm going to go Triple H.
He's going Triple H in an upset. Triple H moving on in the 2000s. We're going in the 2010s now.
I feel like this is kind of rigged.
All right. So number one ranked.
Is it booked already?
We got two ladies in the first round here, Stephanie McMahon and Charlotte.
Steph.
Oh, it's Steph.
It is
absolutely
Steph.
Steph.
No
It is-
offense to Charlotte, but it's Steph.
It's definitely Stephanie.
She's her
But
father's
listen,
daughter.
I got to give Charlotte, as far as a female in-ring competitor,
Oh,
heel
yeah.
heat,
Yeah.
Charlotte's up there. So nod to her.
She just has
The only person
no
who-
butt whatsoever.
The only person who can compete with her now towards getting heat would probably be Shayna if they would, properly
And that's,
do it.
and that's debatable.
Yeah.
Number 2, Orton versus 7 CM Punk. I got to go. Punk was hateable.
Well, Orton's on another.
Yeah, Orton's
I'm
on
going
that.
Orton on this one.
Orton is still doing it.
What-
And yes, I will admit that's personal bias because I don't like Orton.
that
So-
one, just real quick, that run when they was leading to where Trips attacked them in the house. But before that, it was like just weeks and weeks of Orton single-handedly just taking out every member of the McMahon family.
The punts.
Yep.
The punt was a punt.
That came up. It was punt Orton then when he was punting everybody in the head.
And
Yeah.
then I think he DDT Steph.
He RKO'd her.
Dude,
He
you
RKO'd him.
go back to the Legend Killer, who then became Punt Orton, who punted everybody in the head.
And Legacy.
To the character, to Legacy, to the character you have now. Randy Orton has continued to evolve. That opening segment this week on Raw, again with Matt Hardy, unbelievable.
Beatdown was pretty vicious.
Brock Lesnar at number 3 and number 6 Miz. I got to go Brock.
I'm going Brock only because I feel like
It's an easy one for me.
You go Miz?
Absolutely not.
You going Brock?
All the rants I've had about Brock showing up 3 times a year.
Yeah, but character.
That's not a heel. That's just you. We just don't like him.
No, because they built it into his character.
That's true.
They
did
built it into his character.
They do, but
Brock, when
Still
they tried,
Brock. Either way,
think
it's
about
still
it this way: they tried to make Brock a babyface once, and they gave him a microphone, and they realized, boy, this was a mistake.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to go Brock on this one.
At least Miz has
Miz
has half a shot of being a babyface. He did. He almost
And
had
he
a
has that
shot
show
there.
now,
Yeah,
which I watch. Is actually
but
kinda-
Miz-
Not leaving the bedroom. Let's just call it what it is.
I mean, just in general. I mean, that dude is.
And he just couldn't read.
And he was on that Tough Enough show on SmackDown where
Yeah.
he had to dress up like a woman and try to seduce hardcore Holly, which, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But anyway.
So Brock moves on.
He judged the Diva contest.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
oh,
where he's
yeah.
screwing things up.
Yeah.
So we got number 4 Batista versus number 5 Rollins. Rollins was so hateable, but Bautista, I'm all day on Bautista.
Bautista and Blue Tista.
And Blue
Oh,
Tista.
God. Blue Tista. Oh, that's such great
You
memories.
agree with that?
yes.
I mean, jury's out on Seth, though, but this is 2010.
He has time.
I
He has
think-
time to
see,
evolve.
If Rollins probably would have won if his run as a heel originally didn't get cut short by his injury.
He's just a
Yep.
prick. He's just a.
Also, I mean, given this last run from Batista, he has one of the most infamous rants. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
Also tripping over the middle rope at WrestleMania.
Of course.
Yes.
All right. Stephanie versus Batista. I'm going Stephanie.
Steph all day.
Steph.
Those damn
You
McMahons.
can't compete with
Steph
Steph.
all day.
And then we got Brock versus
and
Orton.
Randy Orton. I gotta
going
go
Orton.
I gotta go Orton.
Orton. Yeah.
The evolution of Orton is
And
insane.
it's hard to believe we're going on 20 years of Orton.
I know.
I know.
crazy.
It's just literally like yesterday he won the world title for the first time.
All right, guys. This is a tough one. Stephanie and Orton.
I'm going Steph.
I think I'm going Steph, too.
Really?
I think I
I mean,
am.
she is. She's such a hateable person. On
true.
camera, she is like one of the best heels you could have possibly. Like her dad. It's
Even when
so
she
hard
appears
to
on
not
like the
her.
WWE YouTube channel stuff,
You
like
never
completely off
trust her.
character, I'm like,
You
"Screw-
never
I
trust her,
hate
yo."
you.
It's almost like, in a way, it's kind of like to a lesser extent like Heenan. She's always like, You're gonna do something. We know you're gonna do
Right.
something.
It's
We
like
can't trust
nothing
you.
you
Be
say
like,
is genuine.
To me, it's 1 and 1A.
It's really
And
tough.
it's
Yeah.
tough because I don't want to see Orton go out. I want to see Orton against and move on.
Well, I'm picking Orton as well.
Okay,
very,
so
very
that's
slim.
two.
So we got to go to our tiebreaker.
And Brian's
again.
going Orton. Brian has
Orton, all
broken
right.
the tie. We're going Orton. All right, guys. Our final 4.
Oh, how fitting on one side of the bracket.
Our final 4. So we got 90s and 80s, and then we got the 2020.
God, this is fitting
So
all
the winner
around.
of the 80s, Bobby Heenan versus the winner of the 90s, Hollywood Hogan.
Oh my God, how fitting! Two great rivals right there.
I'm
Like
going
seriously.
Hogan. I'm going
You're going Hogan?
Yep.
You?
I'm gonna.
Pete?
I'm sorry.
You can think about it. for
This
a
is
second.
hard.
Just blurt it out when you got it.
All right.
I got to go Heenan.
I gotta go Hogan, dude.
There you go, Pete. There you go, Pete.
Because you know why? It's just real quick because when somebody who's eat your vitamins, say your prayers. To when he became Hollywood Hogan, and he was still big. He still had the size.
Yeah.
He still had the skill. He cut every corner to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know
And-
what?
and-
You know what? You might sway me because
What?
he did that as a face too, and people don't even
really?
realize it.
Yes.
Yes. You go back and watch it.
Hold
now.
on though. I'm gonna go Heenan, and I'll tell you why. Heenan was always hated, Hogan, as the leader of the NWO, eventually started becoming liked. And the NWO became so popular
That's a fair point.
that they just
That
rolled
is a
with
fair
it.
point.
So kind of
I'm
like
going
Flair,
back to Heenan.
Kind of like Flair, Hogan became cool as a heel.
I'm going back to Heenan, so we got a tie.
Good
Is
point.
anybody
That's-
swaying?
Yeah, I'm Heenan now.
I'm
That's a
Heenan
good
now
point.
too.
All right, so we got Heenan in the
Shit.
finals.
Good point, though. It's a good point.
Triple H and Randy Orton.
I'm going Orton.
Orton.
I gotta go Orton on this too.
What a strange final.
All right, this is not how I saw this going. Heenan, I could see them going this far. All right, guys. Bobby Heenan representing the 1980s versus Randy Orton representing the 2010s. Could have been 2000s, whatever.
Either one.
You're going Randy Orton.
I'm going Orton. I'm going Orton.
Dude, like
I'm sticking with
I'm going
Heenan.
Heenan.
this is
Heenan
this
all
is
day.
This
Brian,
is really
it's Heenan.
taking me into perspective of the depth of Orton's character.
I know.
And how many guys he's never truly put guys over when he's had the title, but just rated RKO. You seen what he did.
To be fair, Orton was never really put in the position to do that.
Right.
He was always just fighting John Cena half the time or Punk. It was one of the two.
Who you going? Randy Orton has won the tournament.
Wow.
Randy Orton.
That's
It's ironic enough that he's
Taking
in the
down
middle of our
another
bracket.
legend. The legend killer. the
Randy
legend
Orton
killer.
truly is the legend killer, has won the lazy booking, greatest heel the last 40 years tournament bracket. Couple honorable quick mentions before we hop off the air. You know, Sherry was a name out there. Heyman was a name that was
Jake
thrown
the
out
Snake.
there. Jake Roberts, Razor Ramon, all great names. Jake was on there. He got pulled off last minute. Sid was a name that was thrown out there. So many great names.
Nash.
An interesting Nash was one. An interesting one that was thrown out,
WCW and WCW.
but it was only a 1-year run. It was Ciampa in NXT. It
Yeah.
came up.
He got
And
hurt, the injury,
it's
yeah.
hard to argue what that run would have been. And I know it's NXT and maybe you don't hold that. But, man, there ain't been many people booed out of a building like Ciampa.
What about Scott Steiner?
Big Papa Pump.
He's another guy that
I'm
could
not-
have been mentioned.
legit.
I'm not going to
crazy.
lie. In 2000s WCW, the only time I ever had a smile on my face was when Steiner came out because he was going to say something.
But definitely Sherry could have been thrown in there as well. But, guys, this was fun. We got to do more of this stuff. I loved it.
Luger, 1990s honorable
Luger,
another
narcissist, and with the Four Horsemen.
Another
Yeah.
great one. This was a fun
is fun.
conversation, guys.
We need to do this more often.
And again, Randy Orton has won the lazy book and greatest heels of the last 40 years.
I would have never have guessed that in a million years.
Maddie, who sponsored this show?
Specialized Physical Therapy did.
Dr. Paul.
Yeah. You can find him at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
Ambuck Services. Find him at ambuckservices.com. ATS Sports Picks. Promo code A2D gets you 20% off. ATSSportsPick.com. We come back at you next week. We'll preview the AEW pay-per-view. We'll talk about everything leading up to Elimination Chamber. Is the Saudi show Saturday?
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Well, shit, then maybe I'll have to try to fit in some of it before we do a show then. But we'll discuss that. We'll debrief that. Much more. Stay tuned. Hockey Happy Hour, the real Triple H, coming at you here on Niche Night. From us, for Chrome, Maddie, Pete, Mr. Brodo, we love you guys. We'll talk to you next week.